From a recreational hall in University Park, Pennsylvania, ESPN presents the best Super Tuesday ever. Indiana facing Penn State and the Nittany Lions.
Venerable Recreation Hall in University Park, Pennsylvania. The site sold out to capacity when they joined the Big Ten. This game was the first game to sell out. Tim Brando along with Bill Raftery, happy to have you with us. Our K-Swiss starting lineup for the Hoosiers of Indiana. Calbert Chaney, obviously the player of the year candidate from Evansville, Indiana, will have to play big as he usually does in this Big Ten encounter for Bobby Knight. Now in his 22nd year with the Hoosiers, 506 career victories, 10 Big Ten championships in 21 years, 3 NCAA championships. For Penn State, John Amaechi, arguably one of the best big men in the country that's come from nowhere. Not many people knew about this young man a year ago, but believe me, Bruce Parkhill knew about him. He transferred from Vanderbilt and has helped Bruce Parkhill in his inaugural year. 20-win seasons for 4+ years in the Atlantic 10, but now they're in the Big Ten and they're smelling upset in Happy Valley. The opening tip is one to the Hoosiers. Damon Bailey will operate.
Penn State, man-to-man, and a back cut and a deuce.
Didn't take long for Chaney.
Ooh. Great cutting team. You've got to keep contact right now. That's the problem for Bruce Parkhill and Penn State. Stay in touch.
We have to mention this. This is a team playing without a point guard. And it has been a problem spot for Penn State. Jennings.
Going to need a big game out of Deron Hayes, and you highlighted John Amaechi. A lot of back screens, flares, interesting cuts and angles that Indiana throws at you.
Nover. And a foul against Alan Henderson. The last time these two teams met, it was very one-sided. Look at the numbers.
Scary. On the road, young team, inexperienced at point. One of the premier man-to-man defensive teams consistently year in and year out.
Eric Carr double teamed. Hoosiers get a takeaway.
Amaechi needs a lot of touches in the low post. Nice play by the big guy.
That's a pretty good touch on the defensive end by Amaechi.
He can block shots. I didn't expect him to steal passes to me. Quarterbacks steal in Happy Valley, not centers.
We mentioned they're not a team with a point guard. Wade Parsons left school. This was an outstanding recruit out of Tennessee, went back to that state. And Donovan Williams has had arthroscopic surgery. He's gone for the year. Greg Bartram knocks one home. A three-pointer, and the Nittany Lions lead it 5-2.
Timmy, what they're doing, Amaechi's coming outside, letting others flash, giving good post play. Now the 2-3 zone, trying to match and communicate.
Henderson over Amaechi.
As you know, in talking to Bobby Knight, I said, you're a better three-point shooting team. Don't tell me that. He enumerated a couple of faulty performances, but I think Graham's a better scorer from three than he used to be. Chaney deep, Bailey deep.
That's a great look to Greg Bartram. He has 5 of the Nittany Lions 7.
Well, they got to play toe-to-toe, jab, retreat, jab, and retreat. They cannot back off totally. First couple of minutes, Tim, so essential when you've been rocked as they were at Assembly Hall. Penn State, stay in contact, get confidence, get their legs.
There's the alley-oop to Henderson. Not there. Deron Hayes clears. I'd say they're going to survive to the first TV timeout, wouldn't you?
Yeah, after that, yes.
Eric Carr with the deuce. And they're blowing the lid off the Recreation Hall.
Now the players have to stay focused. They can't get fat. You can't think it's over because you're hanging tough early. Poise. They'll flash the post. Perimeter passing.
There are some imposing buildings in this league, but this is quickly going to be another one. Amaechi clears it.
Fortunately for other teams in the Big Ten, it won't be for long with that new building going up in a couple of years.
Bartram, 4 for 6 from the floor at the outset, the Nittany line.
That'll get you into some games.
They have had their problems shooting this year as a team at 43%.
To be giving them a different look. Little man-to-man this trip. Over too quick for Amaechi.
That's a block, so count the basket and he'll get to the strike.
They got Carr coming over to help out. You see Amaechi not getting the puppies up and down. That distance from the basket. Advantage with the kiss. Turnover.
Eric Carr getting the foul rather than Amaechi.
Now you look at Bob Knight's club and you always wonder which guy would be typical of his style. And I've got to say Nover in watching the game. Every minute it's an effort. Knows what has to be done defensively, plays bigger guys.
Through the years, there have been the Daryl Thomases, the Steve Hillmans. Not remembered perhaps as much as the Alfords, but Bob Knight remembers them well.
More importantly, and Bruce has his team knocking at the door. One of the few bad shots early. Bailey trying to do a little extra with the bounce. Good defense.
They have survived, but can they advance? Stay tuned. Indiana leads by 2 in the first of our Super Tuesday offering. Be sure to stay tuned for the second half. We'll take you down south for the Gators and the Dogs. Border rivalry, and Stacy Poole is one to watch for Lon Kruger's team. Bob Carpenter and Larry Conley standing by with that one immediately following our game here in Happy Valley. Gators need a win coming off a loss to the Arkansas Razorbacks.
How about that sideline? How about inbounding if you're Indiana? Or if pressed, you've got the student body left involved.
No one will be as close in this league as the Penn State fans.
Straight up man-to-man. They pop Graham deep.
That's Graham's first 3. 22-17, largest lead for the Hoosiers.
So we see if they run some bumps for Hayes. They run a lot of doubles and staggered screens.
Steve Weidman is coming to the game for the first time. Former walk-on, number 20 in white. He'll pump for 3. Not there. One down nicely by Michael Joseph.
Raw potential. Pretty good little post player learning, guarding Amaechi every day. They got an offense on the...
Rashawn Carlton gets caught. Bruce Parkhill not at all happy.
Well, Rashawn likes that baseline jumper, and you can't blame Bruce. Well, you're coaching against a guy that makes the officials pay attention.
Chris Reynolds is coming to the game for the first time. Weidman is checking him.
And he was playing Hayes this last trip. Excellent one-on-one defender.
Cheney over Carter. Weidman clears it.
Right now, Cheney up on Hayes.
With Amaechi out of the game, you figure Deron Hayes really needs the ball.
Although switching, which makes it a problem. If there's going to be a switch, you've got to slip the switch. You've got to use your bump a little bit better. And it's confusing because when they do it down screen, they're exchanging people.
Percentages have really fallen off for Penn State since the early going. They made 6 of their first 9.
And then struggle of late. They got the offensive foul, I believe, on Nover.
Off the ball, you're right.
And they do some bumping, and there will be opportunities where they will slide, and that's where Indiana has some problems on occasion. I'm amazed, 9 players and able to get practices done with either an assistant coach occasionally or a manager out there.
They're hoping to get Pat Graham back, who had the foot injury against Florida State in the preseason NIT. They're thinking within the next couple of weeks they'll get him back.
And this is his first trip. Number 4 over the top, and he does plug Carter. A Detroit guy. Tough is the word on him.
Look at the tough breaks. Gaudio, he's a tremendous player for this club a year ago. Meant a lot to them. He's had a chronic back problem. Williams with a shoulder. Anderson wanting to concentrate on academics. And Parsons, who really was their top recruit going back to the hills of Tennessee.
Well, maybe they don't get the Earl kid out of South Jersey if Parsons here. So next year they got an outstanding guard. I believe it's Dan, if I'm not mistaken. Motion and bumps. We've got to communicate defensively. Nice step through. Oh, the worker.
Nova absolutely schooled Amechi that time.
He's like a bologna sandwich guy. You know, he's not going to get any extra mayo or anything. He's just going to reach back, eat, and get after it. They can step up the D, extend the floor, cause problems like that. Perimeter passing, a problem, particularly against Indiana with their strong denial.
That's a great example, though, of extending the defense against a team playing without a true point guard.
And do you remember, and Chris, you don't get agreement from Bob on this, they backed off a little bit a few years ago. Now they seem to be extending, making it tougher to turn the corner, reverse the ball. He can drill it.
Too strong that time. An air ball for Evans.
Terrible pass across the top. Not the type you can do against anybody, much less Indiana.
Leary misses, but Cheney is fouled on the follow.
What happens, you see it frequently with inexperienced teams. Dribble to the foul line extended, pick the ball up, and now strong denial on the point. You can't make the reverse pass.
You got to protect the ball against Bob Knight's team. He leads by 7 with over 7 to play opening half.
And right here, if you're going to hit your offense, it's got to be efficient. They get a reset, and you've got to get free. Execution, because they switch, they deny so well.
Billy, here comes Hayes back into the game. Bruce Parkhill already has reached a critical moment, knowing that going to his bench, he lost a lead in a big way.
Doesn't have the depth and strength on the Pines.
This is a 9-2 run, and Hayes is forced to enter. He would have loved to have kept him on the Pine to give him a blow for a couple of more minutes.
Tim, you have not called Amechi down on the block touching the ball. And now he's trying to lock. They just can't get it, and it's great defense by the Hoosiers.
A lot of switches where Amechi's concerned.
There he goes.
Little one-on-one move. He told me that at Vanderbilt he was too mechanical. Now he's not thinking as much. He's letting the game come to him. That's a great example of it.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to call him silky yet.
No.
He's not smooth. At that time, a breakdown defensively. They did not pinch the dribbler. Good move by Amechi. John alert, and Indiana not quite so.
Jennings with the long rebound. Parkhill says slow it down, walk it up, let's get in the half court.
Now they can't just chuck and duck. No jacking up.
Jennings drives baseline. Oh, that's a nice move.
And 2 faulty defensive trips by Indiana. No assistance, and they go back into the zone. This was effective, I thought.
Oh, what a nice play by Jennings. 5th turnover by the Hoosiers. Jennings with the quick hands that time. 5 for Indiana, Penn State with 4, but theirs have been ugly.
Well,
The kind that give you easy baskets at the other end.
That, and I think the shot selection is what got them in a little bit of a hole. Led to some open floor opportunities. This is where they can do some damage, I think.
Henderson with the rejection of Amechi. Overshadowed somewhat by the Fab Five as a freshman. This man had an excellent freshman year.
Well, he can rely because of his explosion on the shot blocking ability if he does get pinned. Watch these switches, Tim, and people at home too. It can be very confusing.
You see the 39 blocks. That's a double dribble.
They attack. You put it down.
Michael Joseph arguing that he never had control, but he did.
You put it down, you become a 5'11" guard.
Bruce Parkhill was making the same point.
Bruce, Natalie attired. First next to Bob. You and I look good.
Loose ball controlled by Joseph. He's a big, brawny kid that can bang in the Big Ten.
Look at this great defense causing a turnover. And Reynolds didn't have to do that. If he reached out, Gene Manji feeling he did, he had done an extraordinary job. The hands, the foot position. You've got to protect the dribble. Nothing too fancy. Don't cross in front. And that's one I think they could have had a play on. But a nickel dimer by Mons.
Dan Chrisman, Gene Manji, Sam Licklider are officials. And the Nittany Lions now with 6 unanswered have clawed to within 1.
This is the D that has provided them some spark.
Damon Bailey can't find it. Cleared to Bartram, and we've got a foul on Henderson. That's 2.
When you say 2, it's more important because of the lack of depth up front. Nover and Henderson can play the center. I'm not so sure other guys can come in and contribute at that spot.
Now, do you go inside to Amechi and make them guard you?
Well, what they've done is they switched over to him. You may not see the switching if he screens across. He might cause some problems. Here's the high-low. They don't come out and play the 3.
Now, he can hit the three-pointer.
Yes, he can.
Hey, not there. Cheney hauls it down. Chris Reynolds back in the game at the point, as we mentioned. Well, he's quick.
Oh, is he? Turns the corner. The other thing that they're better at is getting you back into your defensive set. If you're not prepared, that particular play can transpire. Would you tell the man in the red sweater to sit down? I'm having trouble seeing.
There's Amechi. That is a good shot for him. Right around 40% from three-point.
Well, look at the balance, Tim. Well, as I said it, they don't line up properly, but everybody got back and did not get their assignment.
Damon Bailey just getting comfortable with making contributions without scoring.
Well, he's gotten better, I think. Watching the tapes.
That's his first deuce of the game.
Keeps improving, making the 3.
There was a time when he felt he had to score to win, and there's another foul. Jennings, and Amechi involved. That's his first.
He hasn't touched it enough, and Bruce unhappy with it, but here's the pinning, much like Indiana, and the lock low, and you can't ride a guy out. Pretty good call. He's got to hold his distance and let the guard bring it down and make that entry pass on the baseline. Go get it, Bruce. I was in this building years ago with a team, and all I got in this area was a cold. Johnny Bach was the coach. I was more excited about Joe Paterno coming to the game than my players. At least he showed.
Weidman in the backcourt now with Hayes, Amechi, Joseph, and Bartram. Good defense by Nover that time. It'll be controlled to Penn State underneath their own hoop. When we come back, Hoosiers lead it by 5. Number 1, Indiana with a 5-point lead. John Saunders had a play from Luther Wright and Seton Hall a moment ago. You've got 5 to thrive, the best 5 that have improved the most in the post area.
And also the 5-man being the center. And some of these names you're familiar with from doing games. And folks, if you don't like these names, Timmy V had a lot to do with them. Gert Hammock. Jimmy V loves that. Gert Hammock and Chanel Scott, a guy from St. John Petruska's, played very well, and Luther Wright outstanding. This guy, the progress, I'm sure Eddie Fogler saying, oh my goodness, look how good he's become.
It was a community effort putting together the 5.
Thank you. One thing they can do, not a good shot, but I think Hayes can beat his guy from the top with a slashing type dribble. You're not going to beat him individually.
Albert Cheney wide open. Now they're getting a break with him missing those shots, but Nover with the putback opportunity.
Good job by Cheney.
He was out of bounds. Hayes out of bounds. Indiana gets yet another chance.
Tim, if you and I were to talk about different teams in the country, you might not pick some of the Indiana players. Now, Cheney's a definite. That's what a wonderful job they've done with this program. Bobby Knight has a great team. I mean, individually, you might not look at this dash, huh? Dish!
You give his team 5 chances at the basket, they're going to eventually score.
You know, back in his Army days, he stole a lot of things from me. Got him started in his career.
12 points for Calvert Cheney.
Mostly the occasional slippage, of the word. Good use of the bump. That's what they got to do more of. The kiss! Move! Use the bump! They're going to switch. You can't take the quickie.
Bartram from Chapmanville, West Virginia. Logan High School.
He slides to open spots very well. Nice little dump down, huh?
Henderson. Ameche, a good job of not picking up the foul, and Henderson has a very quiet 8 points. He's just so very consistent.
Night in and night out. Both ends. Well, you got to play both ends with this guy. But let John get some touches. Look at how they shut off the next logical pass.
Damon Bailey picks up the foul. Coming up at halftime, the Delta Faucet Report with the aforementioned John Saunders. We'll have highlights of that Pitt-Seton Hall game and more reaction to the firing of Lou Campanelli. And for those of you that missed it during Sports Center, Bob Knight had some comments on it. I know you have some feelings where that's concerned as well.
Well, not knowing everything, I just think the state of the profession is not where it ought to be when they're making judgments in the middle of season.
Bartram.
After making a commitment, they've got a nice program going. It takes time to nurture to get it to this level consistently of an Indiana.
Yeah, makes you wonder if they think Jason Kidd is Magic Johnson.
He's not ready to do the things of a Magic and lead you to championships right away. He needs others. It's a team game, as Indiana will show you. Nice look, huh? Always peering. 3-man rotation on occasion right now in the post area.
As strong as Cheney is, his hands are very impressive. He's got very soft hands.
He's got a great stroke, too. I'll take that over the hands.
Oh, Henderson follows.
No body placed on the other body.
10 points, 5 boards already for Henderson.
Key period where they got through the first 4 minutes. Now you're in that area where you can't afford mistakes. And here's a break, too.
Reynolds
in the middle of a fumble.
Yep. Knight will begin to work Gene Monge. Chris Reynolds with the reach. You think this crowd was ready for Coach Knight?
Believe it or not, it may be the first time in the history of this area that somebody was more recognizable than Joe Paterno.
Yeah.
He being Robert Knight.
Jennings loads up. He has 8 in the game. 34-29. Bruce Parkhill could not have drawn a better script. He'd love to have the lead, but he's very much in it with under a minute to play in the half.
And I think he's found a little defense that's caused some problems. He may have to make adjustments as the flow starts in the second half because Bobby Knight will do some things to confuse this 2-3. They say back off Reynolds. Oh, if he could ever make that little right there. Nice little dish, though.
Nover. Ameche holds it down.
Wouldn't you hold for one, Tim?
Absolutely.
Get out of there. 34-31.
Bartram and Jennings have combined 8 for 11. Wouldn't surprise me at all if either one of those two got the last shot here.
Hayes is the guy I think that can do something with the dribble. If he could get it out top, yes, you go with the hot hand, but I think he can be more creative than others.
Damon Bailey is checking in.
They go the 1-4. Jennings penetrates. And if anybody helps, they hit his guy.
Jennings feels he can take it.
So much. for penetration.
Make that a combined 9 for 12 for Jennings and Bartram. And the Nittany Lions are down by 2. Those are the final numbers on January 9th in that blowout that we mentioned. Look at the difference in tonight's game. We said if you could hold Indiana to about 43, 44%, you could be in it. If you shot well, they've done that.
Well, they've gotten better. They've got confidence. They just haven't learned how to win. This now, the first couple of minutes, how do they react? They can't take fast shots. That's not a good one.
Hayes stays with it, though, and dumps it to Amechi. We're tied at 34.
Well, scrappy play will make up for errant tosses.
Hayes is one of those guys that is quick enough to make up for an error in judgment.
Now, Tim, here's the 2-3 again. Let's see what Indiana does. Although there's a pop and a look down. Get in this guy's hands. Generally, good things happen.
But he has struggled from three-point range. Eric Carr gets it back out to Bartram. Jennings really feels it. He really feels it. 14 points for Michael Jennings.
Double zero is double trouble. It's a little bit like Cameron here.
Henderson, who had an excellent first half, tries to bring Amechi away from the glass.
Nice roll of the post that time by Indiana.
Henderson was not ready for that pass.
What's hurt them, though, is at the point Reynolds unable to make the zone come out.
Hayes is something to watch off the ball. Reynolds trying to stay with it. Todd Leary starting the second half. That's a mismatch. Won't fall, though. Nice save. Beautiful play by Eric Carr.
They are as aroused as the crowd. A lot of dignity, a lot of competitive zeal coming out. Hustle, making sure of doing the little things, something that escaped them in Indiana.
Jennings again. He just wants it more than anybody on the floor right now. Henderson finally quiets the crowd for the Crim and Crimson.
Well, that's the silencer, but right now Bobby Knight going with a new backcourt. I'm sure he didn't start Bailey because of some defensive lapses. Now realizing that he's got to get control, get some offense against this 2-3. And they got the little shove by Nover.
That's the second foul on Matt Nover.
Well, you need a handful of quarters to get around John Amechi. A large Tolpo and Nover. The only way you can get even with a bigger guy, give him a little joke.
You see Damon Bailey back into the game.
I love Chris. When Reynolds goes to the sideline, I mean, he looks right at Bobby Knight. I mean, there's contact.
Hayes over Bailey. Amechi is fouled by Henderson, his third. And that is a very important foul for both teams.
Matchup, that's the problem. You can't have Nover and Henderson, but Amechi's big body getting to the look at him hold off, and now the wingspan able to extend and then get a little excitement. I think it may have been Cheney with the tag.
Yeah, they got Cheney. That is a big break for Indiana. Could have very easily gone the other way. John Amechi wanted me to say hello to his mom, Wendy, who is watching in a hospital tonight via satellite in London, hospitalized for the second time with cancer. His thoughts and wishes and ours as well are with her.
Bruce Parkland told us about it. Tough for youngsters. You don't want to come in here and play with this noise. Got to get some help on the perimeter. Nice post.
Henderson gets the roll over Amechi.
He is active.
You can't say enough about his fluidity.
You got that corner jumper, then they got to be able to handle the pressure full now.
They'll wear you down. Just can't get passive against this team. They'll make you pay. Off the ball, a foul committed by Eric Carr.
Looks like they tried to go man-to-man with that trip because of the better shooters on the floor. So Bruce trying to match up as to personnel by Indiana.
3 fouls on Eric Carr.
Good post up here off the screen. Forget it, huh?
Henderson again. Amechi holds it down. Hoosiers struggling from the floor, and that's exactly what Parkville needed.
Not a good release by Chady, though. I mean, he normally can turn in drilling.
Amechi presents himself.
Look at him block guys. Throw away the key, huh?
Calbert Chaney picks up the foul. His second.
Well, you saw him take the 3. You noted he's able to bang him from deep. But right here, if they haven't, there's a delay double. The wide body able to slither through. Got to get there and shut it down.
The physical tools were always there for Amechi. While at Vanderbilt, Eddie Fogler was very aware of that fact. The fact was he just did not have the basketball skill simply because he had only played for 3 or 4 years. Coming over from Manchester, England.
A little bit of soccer over there.
Yep. He has been socking it to Indiana the opening moments of this second half.
I watched the Illinois game. He played great against Dion Thomas. Here's the back to the 2-3. This has been their favorite defense. Nice help by Jenny. Poor Monge got it wrong.
Yeah.
It was a kick.
There was a deflection that he didn't see.
That was awful Larry.
So a break for the Hoosiers. They're down 5. They led by a deuce at halftime. Graham has come back into the game. He has not been active offensively tonight.
Well, they've been attacking the post pass.
Right on cue, Graham tries to use the glass, and Damon Bailey picks up the foul. Bobby Knight is not happy with his team at all, but you can credit this crowd in Happy Valley.
The last 4 years, we've had very good teams, and won 20 games is the fewest number of games we've won in the last 4 years. And we've had kids sleeping overnight in the hallways for tickets, and the kind of things that happen at great programs. And now our interest in the Big Ten is going to give us 2 more tools, basically, the prestige of the league and the caliber of competition and the TV exposure. And then we had another tool, our new Convocation Center, to that, and we kind of did it the hard way those prior 4 years, and now we're going to have some tools to do it with, and I really, I see it happening.
Well, I had to explain the game to this guy. He's not used to basketball, although he played a little in his high school days. Joe, delighted for this program, felt it was important for basketball to get into the Big Ten.
He'd be proud of that pick that Amechi just set at midcourt, too.
They put some pads on. They got a violation in the corner. Pressure, something that Indiana does very well. They'll tighten it up. Key period. Second half, coat thrown asunder. Disdain by Parkville.
On the floor for the Hoosiers, Leary along with Bailey, Chaney, Graham, and Henderson. That's a turnover. Bailey, and Damon is really out of sync tonight, Bill. He really hasn't gotten into the flow offensively for Coach Knight.
That's probably why he didn't start the second half. He's got to relax. Every game is as important as the other. You can't just tee it up against Michigan. Penn State, a big one. And the struggle from that spot has been the reason for the deficit.
On the other side, Jennings with 16 points, 1 shy of his career high. 7 for 9 from the floor for Michael Jennings.
Now you've got to pick the dribble up and have a guy cutting. The timing has to be better than the last couple of trips for Penn State.
Still a 5-point lead, 43-38. Over 5 minutes gone, second half from University Park.
And with the good offensive team in, they go man-to-man, and Henderson, that little draw to the corner. He used the man. It's a flare type of cut. And you mentioned he's fluid.
Alan Henderson has 16. By far and away the most impressive Hoosier tonight.
Bad shot. Got to get good runs. And Duran's got the capability. Good ball movement.
Bartram for three. Amechi on the glass, tie ball with the arrow to Indiana. Look at some other scores. That Pitt-Seton Hall game remains tight. John Saunders will keep you posted throughout the evening.
St. John's opening it up a little bit there against Providence.
Ryan Mahoney quietly supplanting little Luigi pretty well
in a nice
in
fashion.
Queens, you bet.
And right now Bruce Parkhill trying to do a number, switching back to the 2-3, the man-to-man, not effective with the great cuts of Indiana. There's the 2-3, the hands up, unable to find people. They're converging when it gets into the post area and not getting these open three-point shots.
Elton Carter in the game, trying to check Graham. Cheney loses it to Jennings. There's a foul on Graham. This is as frustrated, at least visibly, that I've seen the Hoosiers on the floor in a game. They seemingly just can't get it together, and they know it's not their night. You can see the grimace on each of their faces. Damon Bailey in particular, you can tell.
Bobby seems very relaxed, though, and I just think it's the crowd, the impact of the 2-3. They're not as patient as they would like to be on the other end. This is the end they've got to do it. They've got to force turnovers, quick shots, and this rebound, get some easy goals. Good balance right again by Penn State.
Cheney, pretty long to Graham. Oh, that is nice. Counted and a foul on Carter.
It's not so much the kiss this time, it's the setup, the approach, the softness, the hands to keep it in play. You see the red wave, pretty fair balance by Penn State. But when you got good offensive skills, you can draw a guy with the pump, get the defender to react, and dump it down for a potential three, a realistic three.
Five unanswered now for the Hoosiers.
Now you've got to time your cut if you're Penn State. Now they're almost dead because the dribble isn't picked up as the man is free. Inside switch, and they, oh my goodness.
Rashawn Carlton with a three.
A switch on the baseline, and nobody got out to help out on the shooter.
Carlton, a freshman from nearby Harrisburg, Susquehanna Township. Struggled in his entry into the game in the first half. Cheney. Oh, they're going to score the basket.
They found something out. They can blow by people and create. When your structured offense is not functioning, right into the living room. DB and the dish. Pretty play.
Nittany Lions by one. Steve Weidman has come back into the game now. So some key Nittany Lions having a chance to get a breather. Be ready for the stretch run. Most notably, Michael Jennings.
The switching now, they're slipping. Here's again, Rashawn free.
Bailey works through it.
Indiana not reacting as well defensively.
Graham out of control. Nope, they're going to call it a block.
I think the walk occurred first.
Yeah, I did too.
Indiana, good looking in the open floor. They've ignited their team, got their confidence level. They're stronger mentally. He did keep, you think he walked? I thought he may have kept the pivot foot on that second look. But the running game. And over the years, they've been an opportunity break team. According to the coaches, Norm Ellenberger, Dan Bakich, They're working on their break, rebounding, pushing it out, and it takes the stress off the half-court bumps and pursuits.
(46-46).
Tell me the truth. Did you think it would be not enough at this point?
Thought it would be extremely close at this point. Counted and a foul. Nover picks up his third foul.
One thing that Bob Knight has taught at clinics is great post defense. Here's the slide baseline, not beating the guy to the spot. The wide body, the soft, depth, touch, helped by the lateness of the defense. In that particular play, Damon Bailey would have had to chug Amaechi. Don't let him get to the box because Nover was arriving baseline and late.
Nittany lines by 2. Bailey for 3. Look out if he starts lighting it up.
Bailey got away with a pull to see that on Hayes. There's the switch on the side exchange. A re-switch.
Rashawn Carlton. He can get a hot hand.
He loves the baseline jumper. A prospect.
This crowd is deafening. They have not stopped standing since the opening tip.
Who would want to move to the new building, Tim?
Graham for 3.
Puts a lot of pressure on the outside shots, doesn't it, this zone? Of course, the defense inactive as Nover does the dirty work.
Were it not for second chance points, Bill, Indiana would be down by 15. I mean, that's where they're staying in this game.
Part of the game.
You bet.
They don't ask you how.
Carlton again for 3.
Are they doing a great job negating the switching D? They had trouble the first half.
Recognize who's got the hot hand.
Get it to him.
Penn State is 5 for 10 from three-point range as a team. They were averaging 43% from the floor as a team coming in. The biorhythms are up and well in Happy Valley tonight. Bailey again.
There you go with your rebound, Tim. That's as good an offense as any. Get a good, soft jumper. If it goes down, great. If not, have your inside people slide because they can't get the bump. And the way he's playing, they don't want him to have 3.
Carlton gets a third, but he also wants to get a blow. Did you see him look over to the bench? I think I'm ready to come out now whenever you have an opportunity. And Bruce Parkhill says, well, if he makes the free throw, we'll get a TV timeout.
Well, you talk about careers. Bruce, a hot item with all the 25-win seasons. And then the Big Ten, and all of a sudden, you know, he didn't think of his career. He loved being here. Thought he could fight himself back into it. Struggling early in the Big Ten season, but competitive.
Bill, he could have left very easily. He had other opportunities. It would have been very easy for Bruce Parkhill to have taken another job and not toiled those first few years when stepping up to this level.
We have very similar situations. I could have left, only they'd all be happy. He's got Joe like in basketball.
53-52, Nittany lines by 1, 9.5 remaining. The #1 Hoosiers struggling at the top against Penn State near the bottom of the Big Ten. Carter cleared by Cheney.
Nittany. Advantage Indiana right now.
Leary. That's why he's there.
He can drill it.
Hoosiers by 2.
That's why I think they're a better team with Evans. Oh my goodness. Amaechi just counting the marble.
Jennings. A little quick that time, you think?
Pardon me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Patience.
We'll be back. Guess what, basketball world? Penn State is leading #1 by 2. And our Pizza Hut storyline to this surprising score, the guards getting it done for Penn State. Indiana's not doing the job. Were it not for Henderson, mostly with the putbacks, the Hoosiers would really be in trouble. Michael Jennings having a career night. 7 of 11 from the floor, 16 points, and it's
Lose time.
You bet.
That's right. Just about time for them to start going to Calvert. He's got to get in between defenders, try and create for himself, take the open shot. Little change. They got Bailey in the post.
Another factor, Sam Nover saddled with 4 fouls and out of the game, which really helps John Amaechi.
Calvert trying to post up. They just can't find him.
Park Hill zone has really worked tonight. Graham.
One more pass. They had Cheney as well. Well, there aren't a lot of Hoosier fans here. This has been an influential home court crowd. And right now, I think they're going to have to deny passes, cause some havoc here on the defensive end. They've had it too easily, Penn State.
Jennings. He's missed his last 3 shots. Hoosiers by 1.
Had Amaechi down with the guy in his back, too. Here's the man-to-man. This is when Calvert Cheney is relentless with his cutting and getting free.
Leary does give it up to Bailey.
They do a terrific job of running it down as far as they have. Look at how the flare got him free.
Cheney. Not there. Henderson over the back. 3 on Alan Henderson. We're at Recreation Hall in State College, Pennsylvania, better known as University Park. On the campus of Penn State, Tim Brando, Bill Raftery, the #1 Indiana Hoosiers facing the wrath of the 7,000 plus on hand in this venerable gymnasium that last saw a #1 team way back in 1958. Amaechi at the line, down by 1 with 6:01 remaining.
Jimmy, now you know why Bob Knight didn't want to come here on this camping excursion. He knew from his days at Army this was not an easy building to come into.
Amaechi now 6 of 8 from the stripe for the game.
Well, #1 for a lot of reasons. They're cohesive. They respond to adversity. Not afraid to make big plays. They look for one another.
Henderson, nice work over Carr that time. Alan Henderson having an unbelievable game on the boards. He has 15 of them.
Well, they're going to have to dribble between defenders. There's opportunity. Nice cut here.
Henderson put it on the deck. A turnover resulted. Actually, Cheney did it.
Great defense.
Yep. 10 Hoosier turnovers.
Perimeter passing, a problem. That's why I think Indiana can extend the D and cause, look at this flare and nobody there.
Amaechi couldn't come up with it. Out of bounds to the Hoosiers. Oh, Gene Manji will overrule.
Good referee. Had a better shot at it.
No argument from that man.
That was a basket if John was able to snare it. Got the 5-second call.
Bruce Parker will really argue that one. The inevitable question comes to mind. Make up or not?
Oh, you're nasty.
Yep, well, that's what's going through Park Hill's mind. You can bet on that. Bailey.
He's had that shot. They're not attacking him. When they come up a little, he can dribble through and find Cheney in the corner.
61-57. Hand check on Graham. You know, you made the point about Bobby Knight being relatively passive tonight. You get the feeling he's been around this profession long enough that this is one of those nights you just have to endure it, get the ugly W, and get out of town.
I think you got to find out what your club has in them, and I think they have them in their various away games. I think he's enjoying this team from his conversation because they're a hard-working group. This is not an easy building to come in with a team you humiliated, embarrassed, and Bruce, on the other hand, has all of that working for him.
All of the intangibles.
What are you made of?
Yeah, you're right. All the intangibles were with Penn State tonight.
And Bob Knight is mellow on the sideline for a lot of years. Of course, because he is Bobby Knight, when he does say something, people magnify it.
This crowd has magnified the intensity here tonight.
Now they're doing a better job matching the shooter. What the zone has done is eliminated a lot of touches for Calbert Cheney.
Bailey's 3 for 3. Carter takes it down. The building will really erupt if they can convert here. Under 4 minutes left.
And a screen down for Hayes. Jumper
Over Bailey. We're tied with 3:43 to play.
This is a trip that should take as long as it has to get a good one. They ran a nice set play for a pop out. And Meche can make the 3. Henderson at 10. Nice back cut. Hayes. Bartram with the look.
It is for real. Penn State can play in the big leagues. Oh, they catch Carter with a foul. That's 4 on him, and Parkhill is beside himself. He was really smelling a run with that defensive stop. 2:42 left. History could be made again.
Timmy B, they overload one side. They get the back cut for Hayes after getting the down screen for a jumper. Terrific basketball, and what a lovely kiss in Happy Valley. He called it. He applauds it. The chagrin etched.
Don't forget, it's happened 4 other times, and it could happen again. 2:42 left. Damon Bailey will trigger it in.
Pretty good dig as they do run a lob for Cheney. They force him to the corner. Ball movement will get an open jumper between defenders. Nice job matching up by Johnny T.
Still, it's Cheney time, and he hasn't come to the forefront.
And the reason is he's trying to flash in the post, not able to convert, but Greg Graham banging a couple home.
64-63. Graham and Henderson keeping the Hoosiers in it, and now giving them the lead.
There's the switch on the exchange.
Very important possession, and Parkhill wants them to take their time with it.
There's a double. Good D has forced them to make the extra passes.
Hayes trying to flash away from Bailey. Leary is checking Jennings. Hayes.
Tough shot. Good D. Rewarded.
Outstanding sequence for Bob Knight's team.
Plenty of time, too. They didn't need that shot.
Graham with 14 in the game, 11 this half. He's a major option on the perimeter for the Hoosiers now.
Cheney's going to have to pop wide. Let's say they go man-to-man.
Under a minute. Number one hanging in the balance.
Cheney keeps screening, ends up free frequently late in the sequence, if necessary. Down to 10.
Cheney. Out of bounds. 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Hoosiers control it.
Remember the lob that they like to run for Cheney. This is going to be a catch, turn, and deliver.
You see the 2 seconds remaining on the shot clock, so that may be their only option as an out-of-bounds play.
Well, you can catch, turn, and 2. Ask Kaufman at Illinois. There's the lob.
Oh, over the back, Henderson. That's his 4th. Keep that in mind if we go the extra session. Nover with 4. He's been out the last 7 minutes. Henderson picks up his 4th. And in the bonus, Amechi, who's missed his last 2 at the stripe, goes back to the line.
Well, the free throws will dictate what defense they end up in. He's unable to convert, they'll probably go man-to-man. He's able to convert both, put a little stress, go the matchup, which has been effective.
He does get the 2. That does make a difference. The last 2 he missed were in the 1-and-1.
Yeah.
Timeout, Penn State. It could be from ashes to stardust for the Penn State program tonight. Penn State with a 1-point lead. On the brink of an upset that would match with some of the greatest upsets of all time in college basketball.
Throw it in there with maybe Villanova, Georgetown, North Carolina State, Houston. Here's the reset, Tim.
3 timeouts remaining for the Hoosiers. The possession arrow to Penn State, that is a big factor down the stretch.
And what they do defensively is the important aspect. Looks like man-to-man. Cheney time.
Leary lost it to Jennings. Michael, yes, and a foul. Oh, my.
To me, the shot heard in Happy Valley, set up by the appropriate perpetrator, Michael Jennings.
This is a special game.
It's just an atmosphere that's so joyous. Not so much in that Penn State's ahead or Indiana's behind, but the light that basketball has arrived here at Penn State. But here's the deal: to make one 2-possession game.
And Jennings,
that's important.
2 of 2 at the line as he approaches it.
Just the one.
Yep. He's now 3 of 3 at the line.
And now you need a good shot quickly. And then attack the glass. Look at this dribble penetration. Timeout.
Yeah.
Oh, not good defense. Don't forget, they had been in the 2-3, not used to the man-to-man to contain. Great effort by Greg Graham.
Don't count the general out yet. We'll be back. That's the story, with Indiana clinging to their chance with one timeout. That man made the statements that he made relative to the Big Ten and Penn State's admission, taken out of context by many, but you can bet it added to this atmosphere tonight.
Sure, but he's not packing the tack. Man-to-man full. Penn State's had a problem dribbling the basketball, inbounding. Nice slip here.
Jennings, Henderson now with the 4. Last touch by the Hoosiers, 19 seconds remaining.
Now Penn State's liable to get a guy going to the basket with a back screen if Indiana gambles defensively.
Dan Chrisman just trying to get the crowd away from Hayes, who has to inbound it. This is not a break for Penn State, having to trigger it in, and they use one of their 2 remaining timeouts.
It's so tough here. Their section, their student body, interfered with the inbounds pass.
Immediately following this one, we go to Gainesville, where Stacy Poole, who plays for Lon Kruger, can't wait to take on the Dogs of Georgia as Super Tuesday continues here on ESPN from the Southeastern Conference. We'll have to go a ways to match this one, fellas. Oh, it has been special tonight in State College, PA.
You saw the inbounds practice yesterday, late game situation. It's important to get the ball in, so the first guy free must receive the ball. Now Indiana denied the ball up in the half-court area. If they would like, they can run a back screen, empty the backcourt, and they might get a loop to the goal. What you really want is to get the ball in the backcourt area, not gamble. But if Indiana's going to get over and give you all that pressure, you may have to loosen it and give it the long. But you got to make sure the man is free. Inbounding the ball, you got to be all over. Shut them off. Don't let them see the floor if you're Indiana. And then gamble high on the denial.
I got the feeling that Bruce Parkhill was concerned that his team would be too concerned about holding the ball, waiting for the foul to come, rather than running his offense. 19 seconds left.
With I'm telling you, the inbounds pass to him. If you don't get it, you may see the quick foul, so you lengthen the game. There's the gamble.
And there's a shirt. Yep. No, wait a minute. That's Bruce Parkhill can't believe it. Chris Reynolds had his jersey.
He got the wrong guy.
Yeah, and when he pushed off, it goes the other way.
Fortunately for Penn State here, you get the foul initially, and they call the push-off on Greg Bartram.
Wow. And Reynolds did have the jersey. There's the jersey.
It's amazing, isn't it? Such a big, big play. And fortunately, Bruce Parkhill able to control himself and get back in. Indiana with timeout, ball on the far end of the floor. And they've got to do a better job, Penn State, containing the dribbler.
They say when you're on the downside of any league, you have to earn it. You have to throw the knockout punch. In this case, clearly the jersey was grabbed, and he saw the retaliatory maneuver, and the foul went the other way.
This is just great coaching. They noticed the backcourt was bare. The last play when they were trying to inbound, you see the pull, Timmy. It's really unfortunate. And if that changes the game, you wonder why guys go crazy in this profession. I mean, there's your heart, your insides, everything you've worked to achieve, you see blowing up. And great control by Bruce as Jerry Dunn makes sure he doesn't go out and attack the officials. Here's the case now, Timmy. They had trouble containing Greg Graham with the dribble. They better make sure he doesn't turn the corner and go all the way.
Indiana could win it with a 3. You hate that officials play that big a role in an important game like this, but in this case, one of the bigger misses we've seen this year.
Down to 10.
Jennings' defense is outstanding. Leary. Graham for 3.
They got a foul after the shot on Bartram.
3/10. Yep, 3/10 of a second remaining.
3-shot.
Yeah. Wow. That is as difficult a situation as any team could ever endure.
0.3 of a second. And after the shot, it's all part of the shot. All part of the shot, and he did nail him.
Nittany Lions will use their final timeout. They've exhausted them. 0.3 of a second, and the emotional roller coaster that Bruce Parkhill has had to endure in the last 18 seconds is probably unmatched in a regular season game this year.
It's a year long of thrills and highs. Here's Nover going into the game. The important aspect is if the miss on the last one, they're able to make the two. You can't permit them with a tip in. You've got to squeeze people. Force everybody to.
The adrenaline has so much to do with it.
It's all, you're not going to, right now you're in the huddle, you're not even talking to the shooter, but this is against the man-to-man, a wonderful open opportunity. And Bartram, who unfortunately had that difficult call against him at the one end, and distraught moments later, an emotional coaster.
Greg Graham, 3 for 5 at the line tonight. And now the senior from Indianapolis has that chance. 82% for the year. 3 for 5 tonight. He'll get 3 for the win.
Bobby supporting his player.
Now he'll get 2 for the tie and a chance to hang on to number 1.
All you want is your youngster to stroke it, and he did that time. Showed a lot of inside. This is the one for Penn State. They've got to squeeze and rebound. Of course, if Graham makes it, awfully tough to get a shot off.
We're going to head another session.
Wow.
You know,
what an effort.
He is pointing, and he is making his point well known. He feels he's been robbed, and the Big Ten office will be hearing about it this week. But now you got to coach some more, Bruce. We'll be back. We're going to overtime. Tim Brando, Bill Raftery with you from State College, Pennsylvania. The man for whom that finger was pointed by Bruce Parkhill as we were at the end of regulation was to official Sam Licklider, who made the call against Greg Bartram after Chris Reynolds had grabbed his jersey. It was a miss that Bruce Parkhill now must forget about.
He's got to coach and forget the official. A killer of a call, and they ran a nice little set. They've had that effective pop out after a down screen.
Deron Hayes has 12. The Nittany Lions by 2. Just underway overtime.
And they're in the 2-3, their most effective defense. They've got to get the splits. And I think Chaney's got to touch it a little bit. He just hasn't touched it much against the zone.
You know, Amechi takes up so much room in there with that wingspan of his.
Well, I think if they get dry, here they get a little post-up for him. But I think Bailey can dribble and force 2 people to defend against him.
Cheney.
See, tough, though.
Oh, that one was almost, oh, by the way, tipped in by Henderson. Cheney saves it again. Hoosiers all over the basket on the offensive end. Finally, it won't drop for Graham, and it's controlled by Jennings.
Has he stepped up big time, though, Greg Graham?
Oh, he has.
Wonderful performance down the stretch.
The difference in the second half to keep the Hoosiers in this game.
And they got Henderson.
That's his 5th.
You can't get around Amechi.
Now, Bob Knight already has Sam Nover with 4. He missed the last 7.5 minutes of regulation. He's pressed into duty the rest of the way as Matt Nover comes back into the game.
He's so wide, you can't get around him. Alan Henderson with the gamble on the ball side. He extends holds off and then gives the guide hand.
Amechi goes back to the stripe. 8 for 10 at the line tonight. And they get a reminder, Penn State will get 2 on every foul. Indiana's committed over 10 as a team, whereas the Hoosiers are in the 1-1 during the extra session.
He's put his heart in this game. He mentioned his mom not feeling well, extending himself, coming up big.
Nittany Lions by 4. Number 1, but for how long? 4 number 1s have already been knocked off. Hoosiers retaining the top spot for a second week, but it has been in doubt all evening long tonight. Leary for 3. Long rebound to Jennings. How active has he been as a guard rebounding on the defensive end?
Well, he showed at halftime what he did in the zone. This is the end where I think he's been sound. He hasn't turned it over. He's gotten them into their offense with his entry passes, able to run their down screens. Here's another one for Hayes.
Off the curl. Both teams get the 2 team timeouts that they can use in the extra session. Indy 0 for 5, 1 for 6 now in overtime as Leary knocks one home. 74-71. 1 timeout for each in the overtime period. Both had exhausted their timeouts in regulation.
Bailey on a little bit soft on a pretty good shooter, so they've been able to screen him in on occasion.
Amechi with Nover on his hip. Gets help from Bailey. Nover, his 5th, he's gone. Too much body, Bill. Just too much body to cover.
Well, they're queuing up against the man from England. Everybody attacking in red, and Nover feeling he got all basketball.
Matt Nover, who really does embody what Bob Knight wants in a basketball player. Shut down, 7 points, 3 rebounds for him. Not a vintage evening. And Brian Evans, a better shooter, comes in for him.
And that may be important. They really need somebody who can make some shots. They haven't been able to get a fluid offense going. They found a little bit for Graham. Now they're having difficulties with the matchup, getting the free spots. I think they're going to have to use the dribble to get between defenders.
11 of Amechi's 17 have come from the stripe. 75-71, 2-10 and counting.
Shooters. There's the use of the dribble to free somebody up. Good job.
Cheney.
Great job by Bailey.
That is so pure. And 17 now for Calbert Cheney. Still 5 under his average. They've done all they can to contain him tonight.
When he's outside, it's a little more difficult, particularly if he pops out after they reverse the basketball.
Penn State's led throughout the overtime. Hayes forces it and puts it in. Oh, a sweet bank.
A kiss to remember. Evans unable to get the puppies up and down as he switched on Hayes. 2-3 dragging Amechi deep. Now he's back in.
Under a minute to hang on to number 1 for Indiana. Overtime from State College. Bailey for 3. Oh, how big is that? The wonder kid that he watched since junior high ties the game for Bob Knight.
Well, they didn't get to be number 1 without a lot of hearts pumping.
Timeout, Penn State. Bruce Parkhill has the opportunity to win it in OT in the last possession. No timeouts remaining for Bruce Parkhill. He just told his player that, as I mentioned it to you, they've got to control this inbounds pass, and against Indiana, that's not easily done.
Well, they got plenty of room to go in the backcourt. I think the defensive assignment, as Bailey is on Hayes, he has been a little bit soft on the screens. That's one thing, and Amechi down low, and of course you got that old dribble penetration by Michael Jennings.
Penn State has not missed a field goal in the overtime. They're 3 for 3.
Down to 14. Here's the down screen for Hayes.
Amechi up high with Evans on him. He'll have to force it.
Wow, here we go.
You know, Bartram had a great chance at the putback. We're going to go a second overtime, partner.
Amazing, and Hayes was free, but Amechi stole the reverse pass to him, then got stuck, scouting in preparation, knowing he could make the three. Bobby Knight had his guys up on him.
Parkhill is preaching to his team, you have to go out and win it. But it'll take 5 more minutes. We'll be back. Double overtime in State College, Pennsylvania. The #1 Indiana Hoosiers taken to the limit. Penn State, for those of you that just joined us, an outstanding opportunity to win it in the end. A controversial call angering Bruce Parkhill, deservedly so.
Not controversial, bad.
Yeah, just a bad call.
Yeah.
A big miss. But as the game has progressed into double overtime, Bill, you wonder, they've lost Nover, they've lost Henderson, but Penn State doesn't have the same confidence that this Indiana team does.
And there they go, man-to-man. This is their primary defense, although it hasn't been good to them. Look at this mismatch, and he takes advantage. Oh, bouncing to ecstasy. Calvert on the money.
Indiana never got the lead in the first overtime, but they managed to tie it. Now it's time for Penn State to respond behind in overtime.
My guess is if Penn State scores, they'll go back to the 2-3. That's been very good to them. Amechi with a little bit of a mismatch. A guy that's not used to playing a guy this big and wide.
Oh, a scoop to the hoop by the big one from Manchester, England. 19 for John Amechi.
2-3. It's like a blanket for Penn State. Get into the gap area, drive, draw some people, and look. Cheney facing the basket.
Bailey. Damon Bailey has not been able to get 2 or 3 in succession
in a row
to drop. Jennings fouled by Graham. Bobby Knight did not want that. Too far away from the basket to give up that foul.
It can't hurt you. Overzealous, but he knows he can set his guy up. He's been able to do it on occasion.
Georgia and Florida are underway. Bob Carpenter, Larry Conley already underway with that one, and we'll be joining them as soon as this one is finally put into the record books. And this would be one for the record books. At the line, 82% tonight, 68% on the year, and Jennings at the strike. He's 3 for 3.
It's so hard to play Indiana man-to-man because of all the bumps and the various ways they move the ball, the time, the screen. The zone, at least you've got them in an area where you can match up, and that's been effective for Penn State. Indiana's had to come and counter a little bit. They've started to get some better shots by spacing between defenders.
An offer for Michael Jennings. We're still tied at 79.
They've been able to overload this way and get it down to Graham in the corner. Bailey shot it from that corner. switch to Cheney.
Carlton, who's been on the bench for some time with a vital rebound. Over 3 minutes left.
Well, the man wins championships because he understands deployment was terrific that trip. Shouldn't be in a hurry.
Carlton, fouled by Bailey.
Carlton plays like he's a junior. The post and Bailey late defensively, getting there, giving up that vulnerable area.
It's very rare that you'd say this, but Bob Knight, from a talent standpoint, at a bit of a disadvantage without the big people.
He doesn't, and as we mentioned, 9 people. Pat Graham, the last fellow in your screen, his son right next to him.
Pat Graham, as we mentioned, with the broken foot, and they hope to get him back. He would give them an extra shooter on the perimeter, but right now, it's just a matchup problem anytime Evans is forced to guard Ameche, and anytime Jennings gets to work over Bailey.
Well, then Bailey made just got there defensively a little tardy.
Damon Bailey, by the way, is now playing for 4 as you look at Pat Graham.
And that kid has a stroke, Timmy.
Oh, you bet. Nittany lines by 2.
I would think for Indiana, the options that they found, look at this little flash and kick. They've been able to get the ball where they wanted. It's the matter of knocking down the jumper.
Cheney, Graham, Bailey, Evans, and Leary on the floor for the Hoosiers. They must win it in overtime for Knight.
And they got to get Evans moving a little bit. He's got to find some spots.
Shot clock under 10. Cheney will penetrate. Steve Weidman will operate, the former walk-on. Dreamed that he'd one day have this opportunity playing in the Big Ten.
Both clubs showing so much courage. Ball reversal a little easier. Indiana showing some tired legs and arms. No hurry. Run their stuff. If a good one shows, take it. Maybe Ameche on the block.
No sign of heavy legs for either team. Carlton. Ameche can't come up with it. Saved by Rashawn Carlton. Fresh 45 on the shot clock. Dumped down to Carlton. Oh, yes. Nice entry.
They ran an X off the high post. Brushed off Ameche, who could block 2 or 3 guys. Terrific execution.
A 2-possession game now for the Hoosiers. Cheney for 3.
Oh, what a heart.
The nail. He just comes right back at you. Timeout, Indiana. They have 1 remaining. They only used 1 of them in the last session.
Extraordinary. Oh, Timmy B. Well, it all started with the call, the high post, and the wide body making sure Graham doesn't get through. The rest, rather simple and effective, and that is a slight kiss with that layup. Great little play.
Joe Paterno.
He's looking for a fumble.
You bet.
He's looking for an interception. And here's the full court pressure. They've had trouble getting the ball inbounds.
That's a foul on Evans over the back of Ameche. And Bob Knight doesn't believe that one.
A lot of people down here. Little sign of inexperience bringing all the white shirts down to make Bobby Knight's defense that more effective.
A kinder, gentler general tonight.
And Damon Bailey's discussing the clock. If there's a change.
Well, kinder, gentler for a moment or 2 at least. It's Dan Chrisman who's working there.
And he's getting a freebie here.
Bruce Parkhill is wondering why he has this forum.
Well, I like Bruce style. He didn't say anything.
I
used to, if a guy said something, I used to get upset. Let the referees handle. That's exactly what Bruce did. They're talking about time on the clock. They felt on the inbounds pass, some time should go off. Gene Mongi now making an adjustment. Dan, Dan Crispin trying to be Don Hammarskjöld.
Again, though, you mentioned it, a freebie. I think probably Coach Knight believes he's been so quiet for so long, he earned this chance.
Well, the way he did it doesn't offend the referees. I mean, if you're going to go out and give them a hard time, it was a opportunity to discuss putting a couple of seconds on.
Again, a reminder for those of you that missed it.
And they do. He wins again. I'm the one that got him to Indiana. I don't know if you know that. he was tired of beating us at Seton Hall. Figured, let me go out and get some real competition. And Penn State providing him with that this evening.
Again, a reminder for those of you that just joined us. At the end of regulation, Brett Bartram was fouled. The call went against him when his jersey had been grabbed by Chris Reynolds. Bruce Parkhill went ballistic.
That's true. Big free throws and Evans. Great effort.
Parkhill wanted to walk, didn't get it.
Brian has to play big. For Bobby Knight, they go man-to-man. This is usually Chaney time. We're on the money. Such a great cutter. You can't contain him. He screens. He's active. Sees the ball as he's cutting.
24 for Calbert Chaney. Penn State will have to do it the hard way.
Bailey with much better defense on Hayes that time. Got out and denied him.
That's a foul.
Without the clock moving, that's the second situation that Greg Graham should not have gotten himself involved. He knows, and he's not sneaking a peek over at the bench, and I don't blame him.
How big has Calbert Chaney been, though, in overtime? We kept waiting for him to find an opening and a seam in that zone that had been deployed by Parkhill. 10 of 16 points in the overtime sessions belong to Calbert Chaney, the front runner for Player of the Year honors. But right now, the player of the moment is Michael Jennings.
Timmy, you notice, though, he didn't take bad shots when he wasn't getting it. The flow wasn't there for him. He waited for his opportunity.
Nover and Henderson were big absentees in the overtime period. We're tied, and Indiana now with the chance to win it. And Bob wants one shot.
Tough match. Eric Carr. They switch Hayes on Chaney now.
Remember triple overtime against Wisconsin a couple of years ago?
And also Reynolds is a great penetrator. Don't forget him.
Evans, a great shooter, forces it, makes it.
Wow.
6 seconds left. Penn State uses the timeout. And now Parkhill wants some more seconds on the clock. Now let's see if he can get a couple of seconds. I don't think he will.
Well, I'm afraid for Bruce that he might get that tee. He's got to get back in there and coach the club. They wanted the timeout right away after the goal. He felt they were robbed of at least a couple of seconds. Mechi right away signaling.
With 6.5.
Yeah, so it's a minute and change, minute 3. Got to grab the ball, let the referee know immediately.
Not as aggressive, though, with the timeout, with the official in front of him as he could have been.
No, exactly. He's looking up at the clock. Remember the home run play that they practice.
Nittany Lions in the second overtime may have lost it at the line. They were feasting at the stripe during the second half. 3 of 8 in the second overtime. And that has afforded Indiana the chance to secure number 1, perhaps one more week.
On no timeout, so they've got to think of getting it as deep as possible. Now, plenty of time to speed dribble. If Jennings is in that position to get it up, your pop out might end up with a jumper beyond the 3. Good pressure in the backcourt will be shown by Indiana, causing you to turn the floor, use some clock.
Deron Hayes is in Christian Leitner's position in the NCAAs a year ago, waiting for the long bomb from Bartram, who would trigger it in, and Bob Knight takes a look at it and calls a timeout.
Yeah, now the organization as to where the bodies were placed. Now you've got to come up with something different or run the same thing with a different counter. Bruce.
He is still pointing.
Yeah.
Sam Licklider made the call that went against him in what was really a run out to win the game.
A chance to inbound, but right here, you've got to think of the dribble with speed. That's one aspect, and kids can get up in 2 seconds, Tim, and then you've got to time your pop out with a little jumper, but with good defense, they sometimes force you out to 3 to catch. The other opportunity is the quick pitch to half court, if possible, then down to the wing, and then the dump down to Amechi. The one thing Penn State has to do, give themselves a chance, if possible, for a tip.
Yeah.
They go to that glass as strong as you can. Generally, you can push, shove, they won't have the call as you go to the tin late in the game.
Particularly given what's already transpired tonight. Human nature being what human nature is.
And human nature being, for Bob Knight, the ability to pressure the ball. Reynolds down the floor.
It may be the biggest play we see in college basketball this year.
Well, you may well be right.
Knocked out by Indiana, but saved by Bailey. And the block is on Bartram. 1.4 remaining. The Hoosiers should remain #1.
Well, the tough thing with the home run, it was 5.6. If you could have gotten it even to Jennings, he can get it down in 2.5. You could have gotten something a little bit better. But opting for the pass on the wing and then the dump down or the quick jump shot. Hoosiers #1 because the pumps tick.
Yep.
I mean, this was not an easy building. Well prepared in a retaliatory fashion. Penn State looking after being devastated to get even. And it's amazing. Ron Felling telling me I can see in this team the growing, the resiliency, the ability to counter.
The similarities to '87 are resounding.
And Norm Ellenberg telling me the same thing. It's getting there.
Penn State will have to wait for the opportunity at turning it around in the Big Ten. And the officials are getting out in a hurry, and Bruce Parkhill can't believe it. Consoled somewhat by Bob Knight. Again, a reminder, in regulation, a huge missed call by Sam Licklider afforded Indiana the chance to hold at #1, but they deserved it in the second overtime.